If you too have been yearning to throw off the yoke of imperial repression and get everyone eaten by the Tyranids, then now could be the perfect time. Hello and welcome back to Auspex Tactics, the strategy and tactics focused 40k channel where we're all about getting the most out of our miniatures on the table. Today we're back for another Psychic Awakening preview, and this time it's the Genestealer cults that Games Workshop has put under the lens, with a ton of new leaked rules. In this video we'll take a quick look at them and talk about their consequences for use in a Genestealer cult army. So without further ado, let's jump into it. First of all, like quite a lot of the other Psychic Awakening updates, the Genestealer cults have new cult creeds, where you can combine two traits to make your own functional creed that combines the exact tactics that you want to use yourself. I think whether or not these are actually good or not will depend on the full list that we get, but they've leaked two for us here, which are Agile Outriders, which is part of the Rusted Claw creed, where biker models don't suffer penalties for moving and firing heavy weapons, and don't suffer the penalty for advancing and firing assault weapons. Not a bad little bonus, but only really affects the Atlan Jackals and the Jackal Alphas, so quite a specific subset of units really, and it doesn't even affect every single one of them, such as those wolf quads with the incinerators, and the devastating demo charge bikes that were quite popular until they went up in points by quite a bit in chapter approved. I'm honestly not 100% sure how much this one will be used, unless the bikes get some significant upgrades, such as unique stratagems and things somewhere in this book. Next we have Unnatural Symbiosis, which is basically a Psyker buff, where any Psykers that take a Psychic test in a cult with this creed can re-roll any dice rolls of 1. Always a reasonable bonus for saving some command points with Psychic tests, particularly as the Genestealer cult's Psychic powers are so powerful for the most part, but again just a little bit irritating that it only affects one certain subset of your army, rather than every single unit. Still, I could maybe see a Genestealer cult Psychic detachment, where you include all your Psykers in the one detachment and use this creed to make them all better, as all of the Genestealer cult powers so far don't actually care if the Psyker is the same cult as the target of the buff. So for example, you could have a Magus in this cult, casting March from Beyond on a Twisted Helix Aberrant squad for example, and it would still work fine. Moving on from this, the main big cults have also got a bonus, as they each have a unique Psychic power that they can use now, though it is interesting to note that you won't be able to use these new unique Psychic powers with any of the custom cults, because they're locked to the main big cults, though I guess we might see some powerful debuff spells among them if we're lucky. The one that they've shown us is for Twisted Helix, and it's called Mutagenic Deviation. This one has a warp charge of 6, and if it's manifested, select one enemy infantry unit within 12 inches of the Psyker, until the next Psychic phase when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a Twisted Helix model. If it's targeting that unit, then add 1 to the wound roll, so basically +1 to wound in close combat when you're hitting that unit with Twisted Helix models. This is a really powerful little spell, as are most in the Genestealer cult arsenal to be fair. Very nice to stack with Rending Claws in particular, for getting all of that extra AP, though frankly +1 to wound is pretty great no matter what situation you're in. I certainly think that that could be a decent competitor with the spells that the Genestealer cult already have access to. It'll be interesting to see what the other cults get as their unique Psychic options. Next up we have a couple of stratagems from the book. Firstly we have Prepared Ambush for 1 CP, and you use this when some Neophyte hybrids come in from reserve. Basically all of the autoguns that your Neophyte hybrid unit has will become Assault 2 instead of Rapid Fire 1 for the duration of that shooting phase. Essentially the application of this is if you have a lot of autoguns, they'll all be able to fire twice at 24-inch range, rather than just fire twice at 12-inch range like they would normally be able to. So to my mind it's best used to give them a little bit of extra reach if you want to hit some light infantry targets that are in the core of your enemy's army and you can't get within 12 inches of them. Not 100% sure how much I could see this one being used, to be honest. The Genestealer cults already have some absolutely amazing stratagems and really rely on them to get their key units where they need to be, so I'm not sure if this one will make the cut very often, but naturally it's going to be best used on a very big unit of Neophytes that are armed with almost all autoguns. More options are always good though. Next up we have another 1 CP stratagem called the Heart of the Creed. This one was teased on the Warhammer Facebook side. You have to use it before the battle, so it does require some forward planning, and you use it to affect one of your Primus models. When that Primus enters the fray, they can use their Meticulous Planner ability on 2 different units rather than 1, so 2 different units will have +1 to hit. This is a really nice little buff for a melee unit making its way onto the battlefield, and means that you could have a truly devastating blow, with multiple units coming in at once, both accessing this very powerful buff. I'd say that this one could certainly be worth it, if you're planning on dropping more than 1 big unit to buff next to your Primus. There'll be a whole ton more stratagems for the cults, so it'll be good to see what else they have to offer. Finally, they've got round to releasing the Kellamorph for sale by himself, which is pretty handy as you won't have to buy the Kill Team set to get him now. And we've got a nice new Start Collecting Genestealer Cults box, which frankly was long overdue. I think that the box is really quite good value, to be honest. In it we get an Achilles Ridge Runner, both Neophyte and Acolyte hybrids, which are both core units to the cults, and an Acolyte Icon Ward, which for me is the only dud of the box, as he's been reduced and available in several other multi-buy boxes before, but not too bad to have if you don't already have one. Presuming you're paying full price for everything, this looks like it could be shaping up to be quite a good saving, it depending of course on exactly how much they charged for the box. If you paid full price for everything, then it would be £97.50 for all of those kits individually, though as I said, the Icon Ward has been reduced many times before. You could likely find one second hand on eBay for less. Still though, the Neophytes and the Acolytes are really good value, and the Achilles Ridge Runner has never been reduced before, so it's definitely going to be the best value way to pick up that thing. I'll certainly be looking on with interest when the full details of the Greater Good Psychic Awakening are released. I'm hoping that the Genestealer cults get some more fiendish new options with how to deploy on the field of battle. More options are only going to be a good thing after all. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the rules so far down in the comments below. To be honest, I can't see anything that's majorly changed how I'd run a competitive Genestealer cults list at the moment, besides maybe that psychic buff being good in a detachment that's mainly focused around psychers, but I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the options. Feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics for more 40k content every day. I'll certainly be taking a good look at the Greater Good when we get more details of it, which will likely be this weekend. If you've been enjoying these videos, feel free to support me on Patreon, as they do take a lot of time and effort to make. There's also some benefits of doing so, like early videos, tournament reports and voting on the future of the channel. The link's down in the description below if you're interested. So thanks again for listening. I'll hope to see you guys next time.